cold wind moves through the trees like a warning. And tonight, Heartland faces a danger that wears a familiar face, because Nathan has set a trap and Ty and Caleb are walking straight into it. Asterisk, the night settles over the foothills in a heavy blue hush, turning the world into shapes and shadows that breathe and shift with every gust of air. Far from the warm lights of Heartland, an old logging road cuts through the forest toward a cabin that most people forgot years ago. Ty drives with both hands tight on the wheel, eyes locked on the path, jaw set in that quiet way he gets when trouble is close. Caleb rides shotgun, scanning the tree line, counting fence posts and broken stumps the way a rodeo rider learns to count heartbeats before a gate swings open. Their phones lost signal miles back, and that silence feels louder than the engine. The tires crunch over gravel, then soften on packed dirt as the truck rolls to a stop behind a stand of spruce. Ty kills the lights, and the night swallows them whole. They step out into air that smells like pine and cold iron, the kind of smell that tells you a storm is hiding behind the clouds. In the distance, an owl calls once, then nothing. The cabin sits 100 yards ahead, small and sunken, roofline bent under old snow. One window boarded, the other black and glossy like an eye that does not blink. Ty lifts a hand, and Caleb understands without words. They move low and quiet. Boots finding the solid ground between roots and stones, each step measured, each breath controlled. Ty carries a flashlight but keeps it off, trusting the thin moon and the white scars of old tree bark to guide his feet. Caleb's shoulders are ready, not stiff but coiled, a man who has learned to aim his strength carefully. When they reach the porch, the boards give a soft sigh, and both men stop. Ty listens. The cabin listens back. Somewhere a nail shifts in the wind. Caleb points to the door. The latch hangs by one screw, fresh scrape marks bright against the wood. Ty studies them, then the ground, where tire tracks come in and turn sharply, as if a driver changed his mind at the last second. Nathan knows we are here, Ty thinks. And the thought does not scare him. It steadies him. He nods to Caleb, and Caleb answers with a small breath that says he is ready. Ty eases the door open. It swings without a sound, which is wrong for a door this old. Inside the cabin, the dark is heavier, thicker than the night outside, like smoke before a fire. The air smells faintly of rope fibers and machine oil. On a table to the left sits a metal thermos still warm to the touch, and beside it, a folded map with a red mark at Heartland, a slow, cruel circle pressed into the paper until it almost tore. Caleb's jaw tightens. Ty rests a hand on the table to feel the warmth and measure the time. Not long ago, he thinks. Minutes. The floorboards run lengthwise toward a back room, and a narrow corridor cuts to the right. Ty signals that he will. Take the corridor. Caleb nods and shifts left, every muscle ready. The cabin holds its breath with them. Then, from the back room, something small rolls and clicks against wood. Like a marble or a spent casing, a sound that should not be here at all. Ty and Caleb lock eyes. The trap is already closing. Asterisk, the silence inside the cabin feels like a second skin. Heavy and unshakable, and Ty senses that every board beneath his boots has been placed for a reason. This is not just a forgotten shelter. It is a stage built by Nathan's hands. Caleb edges toward the left wall, his broad frame angled low, his breath shallow like he is trying to disappear into the shadows. The air grows colder with every step, though no window is open, and that cold presses into their skin like warning fingers. Ty brushes his hand along the wall, rough wood splintering under his touch, and then stops. His fingers rest on a thin wire stretched just above floor level. A tripwire. His pulse hammers once, but his face stays calm. He raises two fingers to catch Caleb's attention, then points at the wire. Caleb crouches, his eyes narrowing, and the message passes between them without a word. Nathan has been expecting them. The cabin creaks, as if reacting to their discovery. But Ty knows that sound belongs to more than wood. He lifts his chin slightly, scanning corners. He can feel eyes somewhere in the darkness. Caleb takes one slow step back, boots sliding without a sound, when suddenly the back door slams shut. The echo shoots through the cabin like thunder, shaking. Dust from the rafters. Ty spins, but it is too late. The narrow corridor behind him lights up with a flare of orange as a lantern snaps on, and there stands Nathan. His face is sharp in the glow, cheekbones cut like stone, lips stretched into a smile that holds no warmth. In his hands rest to length. Of rope coiled like a snake, strapped to his belt is something worse, a steel baton polished to a dark shine. "You made it," Nathan says, his voice calm, almost cheerful, the way someone might welcome old friends. But his eyes tell another story. Eyes full of hunger and fire that has nothing to do with friendship. Caleb straightens slowly, fists curling. But Nathan lifts the baton just slightly, a reminder of the power he believes he holds. Ty does not move. He studies Nathan the way a rider studies a wild horse, knowing one wrong shift can trigger the charge. The lantern flame flickers, throwing shadows that twist against the walls, making the room feel smaller, more alive. Nathan steps forward, boots heavy, each one deliberate. And the floor answers with creaks that sound too much like a countdown. "You thought you could protect Heartland from me," he says, his voice dropping lower, steady as stone. "Heartland doesn't belong to you. It never did. Tonight, you learn what it feels like to lose." Caleb takes half a step, but the tripwire still lies waiting at his heel, and Ty's hand shoots out, a silent warning. Nathan notices. He laughs. The sound sharp and wrong, and with a quick motion of his boot, he snaps the wire himself. A weight crashes down from the rafters, a wooden beam swinging across the room. Caleb ducks the beam, missing him by inches before smashing into the far wall. Splinters explode across the floor. Ty steadies his stance, his eyes locked on Nathan. But Nathan only grins wider. The cabin does not feel like a building anymore. It feels alive, as though Nathan has breathed his madness into the walls. The lantern light throws jagged patterns across Ty and Caleb's faces, painting them like prey caught in a hunter's spotlight. Caleb's shoulders tense, ready for the fight, but Nathan moves first. He lunges with a speed that does not match. The calm he carried moments ago, swinging the baton low toward Caleb's ribs. The crack of wood against flesh echoes, and Caleb stumbles back, air rushing from his lungs in a rough gasp, reacts instantly, charging forward, but Nathan twists. Rope sliding from his hand with practiced ease. In one motion, he loops it around Ty's arm and yanks, forcing Ty off balance. They slam against the wall, boards shuddering. Caleb regains his footing, anger flashing in his eyes, and throws a hard punch that connects with Nathan's jaw. For a heartbeat, Nathan staggers, but instead of falling, he laughs, a dark, broken sound. He spits blood, grins wide, and shoves Ty against Caleb with sudden force. Both men crash onto the floor. Before they can rise, Nathan drops the coil of rope across them and drives his knee down to pin them. His weight presses like iron. With quick, sure movements, he binds their wrists, the rope burning skin as it tightens. Caleb thrashes, trying to break free, but Nathan slams the baton into the floor inches from his head, the sound like a gunshot in the cramped room. "Stay still," Nathan growls, his voice edged with triumph. Ty keeps his breath steady, eyes narrowed, studying every move. He knows fighting now will waste strength they will need later. Caleb wants to resist, his body straining against the binds, but one glance at Ty calms him. Nathan notices the look between them and his smile twists. "I see it now," he says, slowly crouching so close they can feel his breath. That silent trust, that belief you can always find a way out. But not this time, not with me. He drags them toward the center of the room, rope cutting into their skin with each pull. He secures them to an old support beam, tying knots that bite deeper the more they struggle. Ty and Caleb sit back to back, bound tight. They're combined. Strength trapped by Nathan's careful cruelty.
Yes.
Nathan paces in front of them, baton resting against his shoulder, like a weapon he enjoys too much. His eyes are alive with a dangerous fire, flicking between the two men, as if weighing which one to break first. "You stole everything from me?" Nathan hisses, voice trembling with a rage that has waited years to be spoken. The land, respect the family. You walk around Heartland like it was built for you, like you deserve it. But I was the one left in the dirt, forgotten. Its words drip with venom, each one meant to wound deeper than the ropes. Caleb strains again, but Ty's calm voice cuts through the storm. Nathan, this won't end the way you think. Nathan's face hardens, jaw clenching. He leans in close to Ty, eyes burning. No, Ty. It will end exactly the way I planned. The rope bites into Ty's wrists until the skin feels raw. But the pain is not what weighs on him. It is Nathan's eyes, those eyes that burn not with chaos, but with purpose. Caleb shifts behind him, shoulders pressing against Ty's back. A silent reminder that they are not alone in this fight. The lantern flame crackles, shadows twitching across the walls as Nathan finally stops pacing. He plants himself in front of them, boots square, like a man preparing to preach to an unwilling congregation. You want to know why you're here? Nathan says, his voice low, almost whispering, though the venom still slides off every word. You think this is just about land or cattle or some childish grudge? No, this is about what was stolen. His gaze sharpens, pinning Ty, as if Caleb does not even exist. You've built a life out of scraps that should have been mine. You've got the family, the home, the respect of every soul in Hudson. You've got Amy. His voice cracks on her name, not with love, but with obsession. Ty's stomach turns at the mention. But he stays silent, knowing words could only feed Nathan's fire. Caleb does not hold back. You're sick, Nathan. You think tying us up makes you stronger? You'll never touch Amy or Heartland or anything that belongs to them? Nathan's smile twists, wide and sharp. He squats down so close Caleb can smell the copper temps of blood still wet on his lip. That's where you're wrong, cowboy. I don't need to touch Heartland to ruin it. I just need to break the men who guard it. He taps Ty's chest with a baton, a hollow thud echoing in the still room. Once you're gone, Amy will see the truth. She'll see me. Caleb jerks against the ropes, but Ty shifts his weight, forcing him to stay still. Ty's voice is calm, steady as stone. You'll never have what you want. Because Heartland isn't about land or barns or fences. It's about family, and that's something you can't steal. For a moment, something flickers in Nathan's expression, a shadow of doubt, a ghost of the boy he once was, but it vanishes as quickly as it came. His grin returns, colder than before. He strides to the table, picks up the map with the red circle cut deep into Heartland, and slams it against the beam where Ty and Caleb are bound. The paper tears, the circle bleeding across the wood like a wound. This is my plan, Nathan. It's his voice rising now, echoing in the cabin. I'll leave you here to rot tied and helpless, while I walk into Heartland and show them you can't protect them. By the time they find you, it'll all be mine. Asterisk, the rope's grown each time. Caleb flexes his arms, but they hold, tight and merciless, digging grooves into skin already rubbed raw. Sweat runs down his neck, dripping onto the dirt floor, each drop counting time like a clock. Behind him, Ty steadies his breathing, slow and deliberate, the way he used to when training a spooked horse. Calm was always his weapon, and even now, tied and bruised, he reaches for it. Nathan circles them like a wolf, the baton tapping lightly against his leg, his boots striking rhythm into the silence. Every step says control, but Ty sees more than Nathan wants to show. The flicker in his hand, the twitch in his jaw, the way his eyes dart to the window as if he expects the forest itself to turn against him. He is not a god here, he is a man. Fraying at the edges, Ty leans his head just enough so Caleb can hear him, breathe slow. Count it out. Don't fight the rope, feel it. Caleb huffs through his teeth, frustrated, but he listens. His broad back shifts against Ty's as he starts moving differently, not with brute force, but with rhythm. A slow tug, a pause, another tug. The fibers begin to whisper under the strain. Nathan's voice slices through the air, sharp and mocking. What are you whispering about back there? Prayers, plans. You think words will save you? He leans close, face inches from Ty's, his eyes glowing with the sick thrill of power. Ty does not flinch. His voice stays low, steady, I think. Storms never last. For the first time, Nathan falters. A shadow crosses his face, a memory Ty cannot see but knows exists. Anger snaps him back, and he slams the baton against the beam with a crack that rattles the walls. The lantern flame jumps, throwing jagged shapes around the room. "You talk too much," Nathan spits, but Ty notices his hand shake as he pulls the baton away. Outside, a wind rises, rattling the loose shutters. Back at Heartland, Amy feels it in her chest, a pulse of dread that pulls her eyes to the dark horizon. She does not know why, but she cannot sit still. She grabs her jacket, calling for help, knowing Ty is out there somewhere in trouble. Inside the cabin, Caleb's steady tug finally pays off. One knot shifts slightly, loosening by the smallest fraction. He grinds his jaw to hide the sound of rope fibers snapping. Ty feels the change through their backs pressed together, and his heart lifts just a little. Nathan does not notice. He is too busy drowning in his own fury, pacing, ranting about the life stolen from him. His words fill the cabin, but Ty and Caleb hear something else, the faint hum of possibility, the tiny opening that comes when pride blinds a man. The cabin feels smaller now, every wall pressing inward, as if the forest itself is leaning closer to hear the outcome. Caleb's wrists ache, but beneath the sting there is movement. The rope is not as tight as before. Each careful shift has widened the gap, and freedom is only inches away. Ty feels it too, the subtle give against his back, the rhythm in Caleb's shoulders. They're close. So close. Nathan does not see it, is pacing again, muttering like a man reciting a sermon, only he understands. His shadow stretches long across the wall, twisting with every flicker of the lantern flame, until it looks less like a man and more like the beast his anger has made him. He stops suddenly, turning on them with eyes that blaze in the half-light. "Do you hear it?" he asks, voice almost trembling. "That's silence. It means the world is listening. It means I've won." Caleb swallows hard, hiding his progress. Playing the part of the beaten man? You haven't won anything, Nathan? You'll walk out of here with nothing but your hate? His words sting, landing deeper than Nathan expects, because rage flickers across his face faster than a flash of lightning. Nathan steps forward, baton rising. The final knot on Caleb's wrist loosens. He can almost slip one hand free. Ty steadies his breathing, ready to move the second the chance comes. But Nathan's instincts, sharpened by obsession, catch the smallest sound of rope stretching. His head jerks, his eyes narrow, and in that moment he knows. "You think you can fool me?" Nathan hisses, his smile returning, cruel and sharp. He lifts the baton higher, the metal gleaming. "One move, and I'll end it here." Caleb freezes, his hand half free, caught between survival and disaster. Ty shifts slightly, angling his body, trying to shield his friend, but the rope still binds them both. Nathan raises the weapon above his head, his shadow sprawling like a predator about to strike. Outside, the wind roars against the trees, a storm breaking loose, as if the world itself knows something is about to happen. The lantern flame snaps, then steadies, throwing Nathan's face into harsh light. His eyes burn with victory, his arm trembles with the weight of the moment, and then he swings. The cabin is left frozen in that split second. Nathan's arm raised, Caleb half free, Ty bracing himself for impact. The lantern flickers, the ropes creak, and the air is thick with the weight of what is about to happen. And then we pull away, leaving the strike unseen, leaving the question unanswered. The danger has never been closer, and Heartland has never stood on such fragile ground. The screen fades. The narrator's voice cuts through the silence, heavy with suspense. What will happen when Nathan's weapon comes down? Will Caleb's hand break free in time? Will Ty protect his friend? Or will Heartland lose them both in one night? Each word hangs like a storm cloud ready to burst, demanding the audience. Hold on for what comes next. The story does not end here, it only sharpens. Somewhere in the dark, Amy is already searching, guided by instinct stronger than fear. Somewhere beyond the trees, the rest of Heartland carries on, unaware of the battle unfolding just out of sight. And inside that cabin, three men are locked in a struggle that will decide not only their lives, but the spirit of the land itself. The narrator leans into the promise of what is to come. In episode 20, the storm outside will crash into the storm inside. Secrets will rise to the surface, loyalties will be tested, and the future of Heartland will hang in the balance. Nothing will ever be the same. The screen holds on the torn map with its red circle burned deep into the wood, the symbol of Nathan's obsession. Then the light fades to black, leaving only the sound of the wind. Howling through the trees, the voice returns one final time, urgent but steady. Don't miss what happens next. Like, subscribe, and stay with us as Heartland steps into its darkest hour.